All right. Turns out my meeting was rescheduled, so I got a little bit of time to work on this. So, last time, I basically got things working pretty nicely. But let's go ahead and just restart stuff. So, clear everything out. Let's just load them all in and see if it works. Alright, so we got a whole bunch of functions in here. We've got these units of measure, and we've set up our session. Alright, so let's start with our example URL, our example page, the ingredient list, and then the data frame of that list. And it looks like it's working about how I want. Now, take a couple of these, get those into data frame format. So it's pulling down the page, it's parsing the ingredient list, and then it's putting it all into a data frame. Right, so 15, 17, 9 observations of 3 variables. That all looks fine. So I think what I want is a function that will take a URL, will give us this data frame, and will also give us the title of the recipe. That way we can join and compare stuff. Is that what I want? What I want is to be able to take some number of recipes, and basically I want a header saying this is for mini orange mince pies. Over here we've got these 2 columns for homemade mince pies. So let's work on multi-recipe compare. And this will take a list of URLs, I guess a vector. So, let's see, the pages will be map. We've got tidyverse working here. We'll use FDF. This is going to put data frames under data frames, but I really want us to create new columns. So let's say pages will be sapply, simple apply on the vector URLs vect function of URL. Do we even need to do an anonymous function? I think we just need get page. And get page, right, politely scrapes for us. All right, so that gets us a vector of the pages. For titles, we can sapply to the pages. This one we're going to need an anonymous function where we take a page. So if I do get page example 1 and HTML element title, elements title, there we go, HTML text, there we go. All right. So we take the page. Let's call this function P for page. We take the page. We get HTML elements for title, and then we get HTML text. Cool. that gives us the titles. So I'm going to want to join by ingredient and then have a separate set of each of these. So if I do, let's do this first. Ingredients is apply to pages, function of the page, where we will take P, we will get the ingredient list. I don't need the parentheses there, and then I will parse the ingredient list. So let's do this. URLs vect is C example 1, example 2, example 3. Let's get those pages. Oh, whoops. Not vexed, vect. There we go. Titles. So I think that this look like an example page. I've got these two things. It's a list of two. Why am I not getting a vector of lists? Can I not put lists in a vector? All right, let's remember how to do apply. So if I apply to the vector on the margin, I think just one, and our function is getPage. Okay, that looks better. lapply is giving us, we need to do that, cool. So let's go back to here, back to where we were at sapply. That will be a list. All right, so, well, we got pages. Titles. We have got titles. Ingredients. We've got warnings, but I'm not going to worry about it. Okay, I will worry about it. Ingredient unit quantity. Supply. Okay, let's make that an lapply also. There we go. All right. So that's a list of data frames. Good. And just for consistency, let's make that an lapply also so we can join our lists. And then let's try this. So I want pages, titles, ingredients. All right, so I put in a vector such as x1, 2, 3. I end up with this list of pages that has the HTML that I can pull stuff out of. I have this list of titles, and I have this list of data frames for the ingredients for each one. Now, from this, I want to take each of these data frames, and I want to put the title on top. So if I say out is an empty tibble, can I make an empty tibble? Cool. And then I go for recipe and one to length of URLs vect. I will say out will be full join out and ingredients for this recipe by equals ingredient and suffix split this over multiple lines so we can actually see it. Now we're going to join whatever we've got by ingredients, by ingredient, this header, not by these things. So we're going to take this, join it to whatever we've already created with suffix equals no suffix for the left-hand side, and then paste underscore and titles recipe, and then we go out. Multi-recipe compare for URLs vect. Problem. All right. Join columns must be present in data. Problem with ingredient. Ah, right. So, if there's nothing, there's no ingredient in out yet. So let's call this ingredient equals null. There we go. All right, so out ingredient equals an empty list. All right, that is promising. Try that all again. So we've got a unit and quantity, Multi-recipe compare from URLs vect. X, dim X. We've got 36 rows. So I've got some duplicates, something showing up there is beaten. All-purpose flour is getting merged. Okay, that seems good. Good-ish, anyways. Let's view X. Okay, cups and cup. When we have 3/4 of a cup. So I could standardize units. I could create a function that goes through and says, anytime we see cup, change it to cups. Anytime we see teaspoon, change it to teaspoons. Just so that that's always the unit. Or change it to singular, whatever. It doesn't really matter. Alright, so. We didn't properly do that there. So I was hoping that for our first one, let's try this. Okay, so we've got an empty character. XDF. An empty character for ingredient. Unit will also be a character. And then quantity will be a double. That. X is still 36 observations of 9 variables. And our names of X. Ingredient. So we're still, okay, traditional mince pies, mince pie with crumbly topping, mince pies. So we've got this empty set of columns for unit and quantity. So what we can do is we can drop that first one, that first pair. So if we select minus unit and minus quantity, we got 7 variables. Unit for each of these, and this, let's make a paste 0. Better the unit for this recipe, quantity for this recipe. Good. And then when we look at X, I'm not getting a perfect comparison. I mean, we can see for example, ground cinnamon. There we're getting a good comparison, and I think part of what's going on here, graham cracker crushed, this one's getting duplicated in the same recipe. That's not good. Half of what? Cans, boxes. All right, so all-purpose flour, cups to cups. That could be a problem. Cinnamon, we do get that good comparison. Cloves, we're getting a comparison across 2. Orange juice, all right. Good. Okay, raisins, cups, and cup are getting compared. So that is mostly good. Now, we do have these troubles. White sugar and white sugar. And these have the same, signature, basically. Oh, this is within the same one. Half graham cracker crushed. Huh. 1/2 graham cracker crushed. 1/3 cup white sugar. Three-quarter cup white sugar. All right. So here's really my big question. So for now, I'm going to leave this alone. But if I've got this, am I going to accidentally duplicate this somewhere else? All right. So I do have the salt parser I've got to figure out. Let's dump this in here for now. Ingredient list, recipe compare, all right. So let's do this. I'm going to call this 01 scraping functions.r. Feels like there's a lot in this script right now, but you know what? Oh, I think it's fine. Let's delete that. No, I'm in the wrong folder anyways. All right. Alright, whatever. Alright, choose your functions, that's fine. Example recipes. So let's see what I've got. Alright. So, for the time being, this is not great, but for the time being, I am okay with how it's comparing, but can be better. Standardizing from cups to cup, I don't think that's high priority right now. Converting the units of measure, certainly possible, but not necessarily something to do just yet. Function script, it's a mess. Standardizing ingredient names, that's a mess. So salt and pepper. That is something to work on. And then, nice little thing I figured out yesterday is that I can get around the New York Times paywall using RVest, because when you go to a website, for example, this website for mochi stuffing, they send you all the stuff, all the content on that page, but then they just put stuff to block it, right? The paywall is a block, although, nope, no. So you saw it was there. If I inspect this page, let's see, attribute. Oh. Alright, so I'm closer. Right now I'm just trying to get into this thing, period. Window container. Yeah, let's refresh. Alright, oh, paywall. Oh, maybe this I need to change. Alright, there's a way to get through this, but it's obviously not going to cooperate nicely, but I do have this ability. I was able to pull this much. So, mochi rice ingredients now here. I don't have a nice simple delimiter. It's just kind of all chunked together. You know, like here, I can figure out this is 1 tablespoon fresh grated ginger, and then a new thing, 1 tablespoon plus 2 tablespoons olive oil divided. This is going to be harder to parse. And I'm not looking to do that sort of work just right now. So let's try making this interactive. Essentially what I want throw this all together. I'd like to be able to put in Well, there's a couple of things I'd like to do. One is I'd like to be able to scrape a lot of stuff. So I'd like to be able to put in a search term. Ooh, that's something I should add in here. All right, so search for a term, get multiple recipes from it. Return ingredients, titles, and URLs. And ratings. That's important too. So let's do this. So if I search for apple pie, now some of this is going to give me lists. Here's an individual recipe, here's a gallery, here's another gallery. Chemical apple pie. Ew. You'd never guess this apple pie was actually made with zucchini. Alright, so articles. Ooh, I'll read this one later. Love McDonald's apple pies, even though I'm quite good at making apple pie myself. Alright. So, I did figure out last time some logic. Right, so here, for example, recipes, I take a page, I look for the links, I filter based on it having the recipe pattern. Example recipes. So what do we do here? Example recipes, where we map VF over pages. Okay, so we got recipe links from the front page. So we get all the links from the page, then we find the indices of the links that meet the pattern, and then the links that we get are going to be from page, no, from links. From links, we take, the links index values of those links. So those are our links. And then, essentially taking this stuff, pages, we take those recipe links, we get the page for each of them. The titles, for each Recipe map df over the pages. Okay, I see. So for each of these pages that we have already downloaded on line 12, we're going to get their title, which if we take that page and we look for the elements called title and we extract the text, then we get a title. Our list of ingredients we'll get by get the ingredient list for that page. The actual ingredients we get from parse ingredient list for that list. And then take a tibble where our title is the title for this recipe, and the ingredients are the ingredients. Let's try this without nesting. And can I get the URL? Maybe I take our recipe links let's do it like this. Map over recipe links, we'll say P equals get page for that URL. So pass in the link as URL, we will get the page. With P, we will get the title. And then our URL can be the URL that we pass in. Cool. Take that, put together a tibble, and then we possibly rename some stuff. So let's see what we get. Y is get from list, and our URL will be oops, need that to be in quotation marks, and we'll see what we get out of that. Now, while we wait, let's see what the hell a chemical apple pie is. Apple pie made without apples. Old chemistry lab experiment to teach the limits of human senses. So, not necessarily about making a good pie. Buttery round crackers, cream of tartar, so a little acidity, some butter. I guess it's the cracker. I think I've heard about this. I think Glenn and Friends might have done an episode on this. Mock apple pie. Emmy Maid did it. Okay. Emmy Maid is great. Filling: sugar, cream of tartar, Ritz crackers. Okay. So, I mean, everything's chemicals. H2O is chemicals, but that's a weird name for a pie. All right. Rewrote stuff so I don't need to find a way to pull the URL out of something. Recipe link pattern not found. Ooh. There we go. Let's try this. Make sure nesting is fine. Good. Get the page. So, say our search page. Let's also sketch this out. All spaces with a plus from search term. So we take a search term. For example, we put in apple pie, it becomes apple plus pie. And then search URL. Zero. Putting that together with our search term. Then we can get from list from that search URL. So that will only look at the first page of results, but that's something. Mock apple pie. It's vintage. 4.6 stars on 71 reviews. Buttery round crackers. Lemon juice, cream of tartar. So same deal as before. And apparently it tastes like apple pie. I might have to give that a try at some point. I'll do a small version. That is cool. Apple pie cookies. Huh. Alright. Recipe links not found. So let's see. We've got our link pattern, right? Is it a recipe or link index? We take our links, which we got up here, and we grep for the link pattern, and then our recipe links will be the links index elements of the links vector. Recipe links not found. Recipe links we do here. And then when we try to do that apply, it's not working. So let's try this. If I search for apple pie, put that into some object Y. Recipe link pattern not found. There we go. There we almost go. Okay. So I can get that. From list. Oh, I know. Still no. Alright, so that's the URL we're going to use. Let's just use this inner logic and see what we get. So we get a page. We get some links. We get a link pattern. We get the links index. Let's see what that looks like. We got a bunch of links. Slash recipes. Let's see a recipe. Stuff going to lists. So, searching for apple pie. It gets stuff like login and my account and all that stuff. That's all up here. Magazines, let's see. 15 Thanksgiving Apple. Should be coming up pretty quick. Okay, yeah. Dinners, meals, ingredients. Where did I just see that? Everyday cooking, there's dinner, breakfast and brunch, salad, side dishes. Sheet pan dinners, cool. About us. Desserts, recipes, ingredients A to Z. Okay. That's good to know about. Recipes, holidays, and events. So this is showing up. Huh. Huh. That is weird. Okay, so it's not finding any links, which is not good. As part of Dot Meredith Publishing Company. Okay, so that looks like a recipe. So if I go search for stuffing, it's giving me nothing back. There's something we can add to the query. Type equals recipe. Didn't change the results, although no. But we are definitely getting recipes here. Stuffing waffles are a good idea. Alright, well, let's start instead. Here. Oops. Alright, this is promising. So it should be going through, getting all the links to recipes. This one, so I think what's going on is when we search from the command line, it's giving us a bunch of results that are things like, maybe you want to know slow cooker recipes, and not a lot to do with actual apple pie. It's not actually giving me any recipe results, it's only giving me recipes results. So, we're getting some troubles with adding stuff, unit, quantity, whatever, but we are getting it. Why? Oops. I don't know what inch is supposed to be, but let's view y. So we got a bunch of different things. Ingredient unit, ingredient quantity, ingredient. Okay, so this is going weird during a merge for here. So ingredients is a data frame. So let's do mutate title equals title, URL equals URL. And since this is the return of the anonymous function inside mapdf, this should be okay. Okay, let's see. We've got ingredient, we've got unit, we've got quantity, we've got the recipe title, and we've got the recipe URL. Perfect. This is what I want. This is a good spot to be in. So I do still have to figure out things like salt and pepper to taste. I think that might still be something I'm going to run into. Right, here it is. And ground black pepper to taste. So I still need to work on my spice parser. But for the search term, Search didn't work, but get from less dead. So it's going to get all recipes from some given all recipes page. Cool. This is only going one level deep. I'm not going to worry just yet, but I will add to notes to self. Allow scraping multiple links deep, e.g. scrape non-recipe pages for links to recipe pages. All right. All right. I'm going to go ahead and stop there, do a little bit of grading. So what have I accomplished? Let me think through that real quick. So I took some of this code I was working on from last time. Now this, I'm going to dump into my function script because it should be there. Cool. Wonder is there? No. All right. No. All right. So I think the big thing I got was allowing us to get multiple pages worth of stuff all together. Now in this case, I've got this big old data frame combining lots of things. I do still want to do like I was doing earlier. And have I got that? The multiple recipe compare. So this one stacks recipes side by side. Recipes, ingredients side by side. So that, I guess if I did, let's say y URL unique and then pipe that into multi-recipe compare. Let's see what I get. All right, it's a big giant mess. You can see kind of this funny diagonal. It's not the great comparison that I want. For example, I'd really like to be able to see that 1 pound of bread is 1 pound of bread, and then, well, whatever. Butter, we do have in most of these, not all these. That's a bad sign if your stuffing recipe doesn't include butter. Oh, there we go, unsalted butter. So again, standardizing ingredient names might make this easier. But that is an extra layer of complexity. What I do have right now that I'm happy about is the ability to say, you know, here's a page with a bunch of links on it, or here's a link, or here's a list of links, get me everything, put it together. It puts it together in an imperfect way, although I can take this and then sort by ingredient and get a little bit better. Still need to sort out salt, but that'll be much more straightforward than standardizing 1 loaf of bread is equivalent whether it's gluten-free or sourdough. That's going to be a tricky thing. Celery with leaves, again, you know, I don't want to just say, you know, if we see celery then it's the same, because it might be like celery salt. You know, there's all kinds of edge cases that will make this more difficult. Ground black pepper, like that should just be matched up with black pepper. But I think that for that to work, it's going to be a lot of little fiddly things. Right now, I think my next step put into Shiny App to make interactive without opening R. So, I think what I want to ultimately do with this is get it onto Replit and then have it run a Shiny App. So you open up, you use my $7 a month to leave it turned on. So you can go to its specific URL, plug in a search term, and get something. So make the search term work. That's going to be important. New York Times, let's alright, so that's we're kind of done-ish there. That's lower priority. Needs to measure, standardized ingredient names. Those are relatively straightforward, but that is there. Comparing recipes cleanly, I'm not going to worry about it too much. This, I think, should be relatively easy to do, but let's maybe call this medium priority. Converting units of measure. So, I should be able to, anytime I see pound, I could convert to grams. Ounces, convert to grams. Cups to grams, I don't necessarily want to do without having a better idea of, how to map that. But whatever, I'm going to leave that. Standardized ingredient names, leave that. Search function, that. Higher priority. This. And I want to take the New York Times stuff also. Honestly, so this might even just be a pivot, just for the sake of having something functional. So this is functional, but it's not as functional as I'd like, and this is also functional, but not as functional as I'd like. But if I could just pop in a URL from the New York Times and get that recipe, that would be nice. That'd be a nice little personal tool for me to pirate cooking ideas from the New York Times. All right, not that we should be pirating. All right, so next time I look at this, the Shiny app's going to make more sense when I've got something where I can plug in a term or a URL. Recipes, maybe also search. Cool. All right, that's a good spot to end for now. I will talk to you in the future.